Ernie, how you doing?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Good. We're doing really good. It's a lot warmer here than it was in Kenosha the other day.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
So just to let everybody know, we did meet in Kenosha and
Mhm.
we met last week. Was it Friday when we got the results for the verdict of Cal Rittenhouse?
Yes,
And you were
Friday.
there and you were
Yes.
very kind. And when I approached you, I thought you were maybe, I don't know what I thought you were doing. But anyway, I approached you and you were very, very kind. Now, you had been there all day, hadn't you?
Oh wow. Yeah. Yes. I literally all day. I had got there and had to leave again because they had took Kyle out the side door, the back door of the courthouse there. And then I was watching over the area there with the vehicles. That road was still open. So I was over there just watching that. And then I seen all the news media and stuff just come running down. I had already knew that he was already out of the way and out of harm's sight and already in good hands, and he was already gone. So
Now, there was some protesters there, some Antifa that you came across, wasn't there? You showed me some pictures
yes, well,
and
there
you
was
had
this
fun.
one certain there was this one certain Antifa guy, and Lord help it, I don't even know. I mean, you got to see it. I know all the media zoomed in right on the time. It was when Mr. McGinnis actually was up there, and he was saying something, and he had named something about Antifa and them writing, and the way they're anarchy. And as soon as he did, you could just see this guy. He just turned around and looked at him, and it was just. You cannot have a conversation with these Antifa guys. I've, Even in Atlanta, Georgia, when I encountered them. But I was just telling you, this guy, he just turns around and he's like, get out of here. And that's all they can do is just say, get out of here. You're not welcome, And then I seen him getting too close. And, from training perspectives, you cannot let them get so close. When I seen him go down, I noticed he had a little clip. He had a knife on his shoulder. And I was looking, I was like, okay, so me being executive protection and protection in general just for the people, I stepped in, and you've seen it didn't last long. Because when you confront these people, and they're not used to being confronted, they're not used to being
Cowards.
confronted at all. They're used to having their way, and it goes with today's society. They're getting their way. That's why they're doing what they're doing. But he wasn't having his way like that, not with me.
And you showed me some pictures. Yeah, you had a little bit of fun that day. Now you are the executive protection specialist, right?
Mhm.
And you
Yes.
do protection, and you're also the director of operations for ROC, which is Rescue Our Children. Tell me
Yes,
a little
ma'am.
bit about what you do.
Well, Operation Rescue Our Children in the beginning started off with the executive orders in 2017 with President Trump. And then a lot of people don't understand, just that general, just to hit on it just a little bit. A lot of people don't understand when he doubled down those last executive orders was combating human trafficking. Combating, when he put those words in the executive orders, combating, oh my God, that opened up task force teams all around the United States. I know about 500 or 600, but I've heard more than 800. So just, what it was able to free up and open up. And as you see, as soon as that happened, boom, 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 20, 30, 40, 50 kids rescued here, bam, 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 U.S. Marshals. But then you noticed in their press releases, they would always say, well, there was over 50 organizations in this. Well, they can't just name all 50 organizations. So a lot of people has a hand in it behind the scenes
Yes, I would
that
imagine.
others don't know. It's just like I tell everybody, what you see is what the media wants you to see. You don't get to see what's behind the scenes. You don't get to see the men and women who put their lives on the line daily doing or fighting an evil that an ancient evil that
Yes,
preys on your children,
yes,
and
yes.
it does not rest.
Yeah, somebody once told me if you're going to do something, do it fast because evil doesn't walk, doesn't run. Evil flies.
Exactly.
It doesn't dilly dally. Um, so President Trump had those orders, but he also had the funding, which before, as I understand it, there wasn't very much funding for child rescue of any type or the trafficking.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
when President Trump got in office and took in office, I was at Trump Towers. I was helping put boulders up. Well, I was helping with the security around Keystone around when the boulders was taken and put in New York City up against, to block off Trump Towers. You know how they had it blocked off. You've been to
Yeah,
Trump Towers.
yeah.
Okay, so I was doing it was like a 21-day contract. I think it was, I can't remember the service I was working for, but that's where it kind of started, and it kind of got me up on my feet.
So he's a good guy, huh? He's a good employer.
Great employer, great employer. His son, Donald Trump Jr., one of the best guys ever. Humble, down to earth. And I mean, when I say this, I mean, he's very, very smart. I mean, I was looking for him to run for president afterwards. So
Who knows? Who knows? So there's you talk about the human trafficking advocacy. What is that? What is that? So the people in this, because there's so many different titles here.
well, there's
The
so many
people
there's so
can
many
understand.
different operation groups. It's with human trafficking, anything advocacy. Do
Yeah.
you remember Facebook? You remember when Facebook had the big shutdown? It was in October. It was October 20th, 2020, when they shut down. They took over 800 platforms of Save Our Children off. Everything went out. Everything went out. I mean,
Wow.
I was over a group of like 50 or 60,000 members. There was groups that just went gone overnight. I knew that was going to happen. I actually put out like a caution when they first said October 20th everything was going to change. I screenshotted it. I've got that somewhere still, but I knew that was happening because look at who was dominating the field at that time. I mean, if you look, everybody was like, save our children. Over 20, I mean, this thing had 200 million on hashtags. Save our children. Remember, and they said you could not hashtag no more. Remember that? And the groups started doing all that. They was taking groups down. They was using their studies and finding out. Facebook actually put out a thing where they was actually looking at whoever put Save Our Children out there in a hashtag format, the algorithms or whatever was taking that off, and it was taking their groups away.
Wow.
Because people woke up.
People will wait. I heard that Save the Children was funded by rather mischievous group of people, that they weren't really interested in that. Is that true or not? Or is that
Well,
something?
I've heard that before. I've heard that before too. But the fact of the matter is, no matter what group that was funding it or actually founded it, it was the meaning that caught fire. It don't matter if it was like, you can do something out there and put something out there for the bad, but people take and use it. And if they use it for the good, because I'll just be honest with you, it was save the children at first. Remember, they were saying save the
Save
children.
the Children. Yeah.
Right. So after that they done away with that. Then it was Save Our Children that come out, and then that was one. Well, the Save the Children movement had already started. That was already the ripple in the water. That already had it going full fledged to make the wave. And then of course when Save Our Children was there, it hit perfectly, and the wave was forming. And by God, did it crash? It crashed down on the hard, and they had to do something with it, and they did. They had to censor it, and that's what they did.
Okay. So I was looking through the website that you sent me, and it talks about the Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation Prevention Act. And so every state supposedly has a representative, and each state has this organization. How
Right.
effective
Well,
is it?
it's very, very effective. Over, I think we're around 28 or 30 states now that have adopted. It's the SOC, which is Save Our Children, the Save Our Children Act. It's kind of with that. So I'm the operation director, and I'm actually the field director for the Special Forces of Liberty. It's Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation Prevention Act. What that is they help, we actually help make the laws in all 50 states. So we get to go on these panels and like in Maine and different places and, argue. And usually when we argue our case, and we usually win because nobody don't want to stand up against people who are there to protect children and make laws that actually protect children. One thing that's going on with that, the last that I was involved in it, like personally involved in it, was the Prostitution Act. Prostitution used to be on the street. Well, prostitution ain't really on the street no more. The street corners are not there no more like it used to be, because prostitution moved from the street to the cell phone.
Yeah.
It's through the internet.
It's
Everything's through
still
the
on the
internet.
streets in Europe. Yeah, in
Yes.
Barcelona, when I, 4 girls that are
Mhm.
over there.
Well, I mean, they're still on the street, but their
Yeah.
connections and their money, Cash App and things like this, everything is made through apps now. You know, your little Cash App here, your PayPal, you know, all that. But it's all through, all your communications and everything is done on your cell phone.
Very sophisticated. Oh my goodness. So you've been thick in the thick of it all for a very, very long time, haven't you?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we had a group. It was in human trafficking everywhere, and it's still going. But the sad thing about that is more liberals took over on it than anything else, and they wanted to start using it for their OnlyFans promotion. And therefore, you know, you ain't getting nothing done. Therefore, you kill yourself out. You drown yourself out when you do stuff like that. It don't matter what your meaning is. If it's not what your meaning is and you're promoting yourself on something on OnlyFans or any kind of other site, you're going to drown yourself out, no matter how many members you got. Pretty soon people just start dying out and they're like, we don't have nothing to do with it, no matter what you do. So with that, what I did when I was an admin there is I started task forces, voices for the children, task force. You might have heard that before. We had our little operations that people in the group, I mean, we had 60,000 members messaging us over problems that they had. And we was actually solving their problems, helping them.
What type of problems?
Well, some, I'll give you an example of one. One time, we was hit when we had different chambers now in this. So in order to figure out who was legit, because remember, child traffickers also stay in those groups. You see, when you got a group of that size, 60,000 members, well, that's a pretty good size group. So what you have to understand, most importantly, is that group is an information source.
Yeah.
Now that information source can be used by the good or it can be used by the bad. So if you put a child that went missing up in that group and you don't have enough good grabbing attention to that, and you have the bad looking at that too, well, it's a competition to who gets that child. You see what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
Remember, children, they sell, you know, when these child traffickers, they sell these children, you know, anywhere between $2,000 and $60,000.
Wow.
So you see a missing child that just comes up on an Amber Alert. You're looking at it. Wow. Most people throw it on the group. Bam. The biggest group ever. And they're hoping and praying that the right people see it. What they fail to realize, our eyes deceive us sometimes. They don't go with what's in the heart. That's an information source. Are you going to get that child more than a person knows that they can get $50,000 out of that child? Think about it. That's what people don't realize. They don't think that way. Their brains are not trained that way.
Wow. Goodness. I hear that a lot of this is going on in the dark net, a lot of the selling and a lot of the carrying on. Is your task force working in, or can you even say that, if you're working in the dark net?
No, we did dibble. They have dabbled in the past in that. As of right now, I don't have a task force that I'm even a part of. I'm just talking about we come up with a task force in that group that helped people out, and we did do a lot of helping. I remember it. I remember it, and people would tell us, you know, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a story of one of them. So this girl, she comes up missing. Her uncle had sold her when she was 8 years old.
Oh my.
Sold her into child trafficking. Well, she went and we found this place where she was at. Her sister messaged us. She hadn't seen her sister in over 15 years. 15 years. Her sister gets a hold of us. Of course, we're all like, you know, we don't believe it's true and everything. But there's just something, you can't fake passion. And this person kept on reaching out to us. And I'm like, look, I'm going to take this. I'm going to look at this and I'm going to see what's going on. She had done her own tracking on her own sister and found her sister. Now, that right there alone, You don't hear that from the media. You'll never hear that from the media. You'll never hear that from any news sources. But she found her own sister. So she contacted us, and she found a way to even make contact with her sister and her sister into human trafficking. But she found a way to do it. I don't know how she did it, but we got the information. And she was on, do you remember the internet? You remember the source, the internet source, the website called rapey.com?
No.
Okay, so what they would do is they put their victims on rapey.com, and it would show people raping these girls. They would literally had it on this site, and you could buy this girl, you could purchase this girl. See that goes in way
Wow.
beyond. But you could buy this girl. So we set up a bed and breakfast, and we purchased that girl. What she didn't know is we was doing the rescue for that girl. So we was able to set that up. And of course, you know, they have their people, their bodyguards that come with them, their hawks. And we knew that he's going to take, you know, this bed and breakfast. He's going to look around. He's going to have his phone. He's going to be videoing every one of the license plates. He's going to know everything about it. So I decided that we was going to rent a vehicle. So what he didn't know is 2 miles up the road, we had another vehicle, our vehicle, to get in after we left that place in that vehicle. So I remember is, oh, wow. So we're sitting, and one of the Homeland Security guys is, there's a connection with him. I think his name was Ryan. And one of my buddies was on the phone with him, and he's like, look, we got this settled. We got everything. It was quick. We was in it. I mean, we was going to be in and out. And then all of a sudden, we had her all of her clothes, different clothes. She's supposed to change everything, leave everything she's got there, get into the clothes that we provided for her, and we was out of there. That's how simple it's supposed to be. And then, you know, we was going to dress her up, you know, and fool the bodyguard outside because he was just in a waiting room there, just sitting. And so I remember is she's coming, she's getting her clothes changed and everything. And then all of a sudden I just hear her crying, just busted out crying. I'm like, what in the world? She comes, she gets her clothes. She's like, oh God. And she's sitting there just bawling. She said, I can't go nowhere. And she was being sold to Mexico that week. So we had to act fast. We only had a certain amount of days to act. So I looked at her and I was like, well, you okay? What's going on? She said, I need to talk to you. I need to tell you something. And just all these tears were just coming, streaming down her face. And she said, she pulled out a little picture.
Oh, dear.
And an address. And she said, give this to my kid and tell mother love. I didn't even know she had a kid. She had now check this out. She had a kid with one of the peoples while she was in human trafficking and had a baby. So what happened is the guy that she had the baby with kept the child and moved out, left. But he had the child. He kept the child. It was wild.
Why would he keep the child?
Because that's his daughter. He raised his daughter.
Wow.
So what happened? So what happened? And it's a good story. So what happened is after she starts crying, and I'm getting this picture and I'm looking, and I was like, what's going on? She's like, I've got a chip in the back of my neck. It's a tracking device. I'm like, oh. And then at this time, our crew and our team are like, we know we ain't got no way to get doctor, medical, no surgical or nothing like that. True story, and I could actually show you people who vouch for me on this. I said, how bad do you want to be free? Because I studied up on that. They do it just like they do the tracking devices they do in animals.
Yeah.
A couple layers under the skin. Well, I know a couple layers under the skin ain't much at all. But where it's at, it's in the fat piece of the back of the neck there. So I took my knife out and we got hot water, and I pretty much asked her how much she wanted, how bad she wanted to be free, and we freed her that night. So going out, of course, blood was all around her neck. We had to wrap towels, and we had to dress her up to where she's unnoticeable. But I seen the bodyguard as we was going out. So I'm sitting here, and I'm like, I want to throw his mind even farther. So as we're going off, I'm like, oh, like we're drunk and everything, just running in there. So I said, I'm going to have a hell of a time in Chicago. What about you? Don't you just love Chicago? But I put that in his mind. That way, when he knew everything went all to hell, They're going to be like, well, where'd he go? I remember they said Chicago. She didn't go to Chicago. She went to Texas for a month, stayed, got everything, got help and everything. Then we tracked her baby down, and the guy that had the baby, we reunited them, and they're still together to this day.
Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. What
That's powerful. That's powerful.
It's something out of a movie.
It is. It is.
Goodness.
And then, I mean, there's so many stories. Oh, wow. And even from bounty hunting, I was a bounty hunter 20 years, and I've been licensed. I mean, I can show you all the license and credentials for that. And I've been doing it for like 20 years. So Bob Burton, under Bob Burton's a legendary bounty hunter. But that's pretty much where I got my skills at, from tracking and, learning the field in general.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness, you do have stories. We were talking before about this happens all the time, and children are so vulnerable. And I was listening to a girl that was able to survive this trafficking, and she says that child services are the worst. And I have, people that are within child services, that they're very, very good people, but the organization itself, it's not a good organization. I'm sorry to say. It's just not. There's too much mischief in there. Foster parents, they're not vetted properly, and those kids end up in worse shape than before. It's not unusual for kids to grow up and have been in maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different homes and been abused or neglected in most of those. Why do you think that we're not vetting these? I mean, we vet the any animal rescue. My daughter tried to, and I tried to adopt animals. They make you go through all these rigmarole. Oh, yeah. But it just seems like if you want to be a foster parent, they don't vet you as much. Why do you think that is?
Because they're really, in general, it's made for the good, but they're really trying to find these kids homes. But here's the fact of the matter is, remember when I said they hide within our society? Anybody can act. Anybody, and the vetting, like you said, vetting is the whole key to this whole thing. The proper vet, the vetting someone. If you go and try to do adoption, you go through hell and high water, and you pay tons of money just to adopt. But when it comes to child, like child care or anything with CPS or foster care and all that, it's simple. It's literally simple. They'll give it to anybody. I mean, and that's sad, but again, they hide within our society. There's loopholes, and we know what loopholes are. I mean, look at what kind of government we have now. You see it all the time in politics. What's coming across the border?
Yes. Yeah.
It's going to get more and more and more. And to answer your question on to put more into, to emphasize a little bit more on it, every 30 to 40 seconds, a child goes missing. And that's a fact. In the United States, every 30 to 40 seconds, a child goes missing.
So we were also talking about this. As parents and grandparents, what can we do to be more aware?
Learn general awareness. General awareness is the key. Prevention is the key for any of this. You want to stop this, you prevent it. How do you prevent it? We can bust a child predator all day long, every day. I mean, it's simple. I can get on their maps and hit one in about 5 or 10 minutes and have them meet up. What does that do? It does nothing. It just takes one from the end of a chain. That's it. Now, if you bust up through the middle and get a whole nice pedophile ring or something like that, now that's getting some work done. But, why not prevent it in the first place? Because if we get smarter in detection and general awareness in preventing this matter from even happening, they get dumber because they get mad. They don't know how to compete with what we're doing. Therefore, they go out of hell. We've rattled that cage so much they give themselves away. You can wear a shirt. You can wear one of our Operation Rock shirts. And I guarantee you, when people see it and they see Rescue Our Children on it, or even better, Predator Hunter Nation, and they see that it ain't just the predators, them animals that you're talking about hunting, they'll stop dead in their tracks 30 foot from you before they get there. And, and you just see it in their eyes. It stops predators dead in their tracks. And that's my motto for the shirt. Now, if you get someone else, they're going to run up to you, man, I love that shirt. Where'd you get that shirt at? But it's awareness. Everything is awareness. And that's what you do more of. You want to stick out like a sore thumb to predators and child predators. I'll tell you what, get one of those shirts. You'll tell them right off the bat. You can tell who's who. So I had a Stop Child Trafficking mask, and I had my friend wear it in Florida. She went to the grocery store in Florida, and they had to have the mask. She put that mask on. She ain't one to believe in masks, but she wore it because of what it said. You wouldn't believe the looks she got. People coming up, oh, I love that. But there were certain people would stop and be like, and you just see the fright look come across their face, like, well, you just give yourself away.
Yeah.
But because that's what it does. It's made to give yourself away without you even knowing it. It's just like these child predators in Walmart. When I go to Walmart, I automatically go to the kids section and walk around to where they put their shoes and stuff on with a little booth sat and everything. I automatically go that way because I want to make sure that area is secure. You wouldn't believe how many times that I've had that shirt on. It says "Make pedophiles cry again," and I'd have a jacket. I would walk up behind the guy and him watching a little girl or a little kid put their shoes on, and the way there's certain mannerisms and the characteristics and their persona and everything, the way they move and everything, and catch them rubbing on themselves and everything, and then just and them look back at me, and I just would be like, I wouldn't Batman, but I would, and they see that shirt and you see their eye. I mean, you see their skin color leave. It would scare them to death because of what the shirt said. Make pedophiles cry again.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. Just this morning, we were watching a video that a guy put on. He has this little girl there, and there's this guy with a mask on, and he's taking pictures of his little girl. So he starts chasing the guy, and the guy is just having a fit. Well, I want to live. I want to live like a little girl without a mask. It's not good. But he was taking pictures of her, and the dad said, "Hey, leave," and the guy just was having a fit because now he was being singled out, and they told him in the store his behavior was so bad. They told him, "You're not welcome anymore," and he was in Walmart. So yeah, right. I mean, they're everywhere.
Did you see I just named Walmart and you just named that story? Did I talk to you before about Walmart? No, I didn't. But I know what Walmart has in store, where people go and where people always sit in them kitty aisles. And that's why they sit at parks. Why does someone get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to a park and sit down on a bench? I've got photos of me being there at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, nobody else there, and them sitting hiding behind a tree just waiting. And you know what they're looking at? That child playground there. They're waiting for their victims. Fact. You don't sit. Some of them would back their vehicles up into the park and just lay their seat back where you don't know what they're doing because the windows and everything, but they got their seat laid back and they're watching kids play on the playground. If that right there ain't sick, I don't know what is. Anybody who can sexualize a child and think a child is sexy, there's something wrong with them.
Yeah. I was in Las Vegas, and I haven't said this to too many people, but it bears saying because it always seems like it happens to everybody else, but it doesn't. It happened to me one time when we were in Las Vegas and my children were in school, and I took the little one, my youngest one, he was not even 2 at the time. And I went to a different park just to get out of the place. And because we were downtown, not downtown Las Vegas, but in an area, so I thought, let's just go to a nice park. And I came and I drove and I parked, and I didn't realize there was a school over here until afterwards. But I remember that I had a cookbook, and it was a lovely cookbook, and we had a little picnic there and everything. She was right behind. At some point, she got right behind me. So, and she was touching me, so I knew she was there. She wasn't going anywhere. And all of a sudden, I just had a bad feeling, and I turned around. It was a guy. The guy wasn't even 6 feet away from me, and he was leaning over, and I looked at him, and our eyes met, and I knew he was there to take her. And he saw me, and I grabbed my child, and right then he, boom, turned right around and just took off. Then I realized I picked her up, picked my bag up, went to my car, and I realized, oh my gosh, this is a school. He had another guy there. There was two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went in the car, and my phone had just died. But I was trying to see if I could get something. And when they saw me on the phone, they skedaddled really fast. Oh my gosh, what could have happened just now?
Yes.
I mean, he was willing to grab the child and run off and get into a car. That bold. Right. We came here into Illinois in 96. So it had to be between 95, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. That bold. It's absolutely amazing. There's also apps, aren't they, Annie, that we can have that tells you who's who in the neighborhood when
there's plenty of apps. Yes, they are. There's
are they efficient? Are they good things to have?
They are. Any of them. The sexual registry is really, really good to do, and I can actually let me think about the name. There's actually it's abbreviation. I just got to think about what it is here in a minute. But it's nationwide. It's a national-wide sex registry. It's free on your app. It tells you the grid on where sexual predators are at. It actually shows you a grid and a map. We could actually include that link in the post that you in this video.
We could.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. And I'll get that to you. I don't want to mess this app up, and I don't want to mess this link up, but I do know it, and I'll get it to you as soon as that's over. As soon as this is over. So here's the thing. When you say that, but here's the thing that we don't look at. Remember, we got to think differently if we're going to think about how to avoid sexual predators. Because what we're seeing is, we're looking for an app that already knows to identify people who are already caught. The fact of the matter is, child predators and child traffickers and child predators in general are not usually caught. Only a few % is actually caught. So how many is actually out there that doesn't get caught? A lot. We only know the ones that get caught. And that's what we base our fears on, or we base our cautiousness on and around them, right? While we're focusing on them, what's right amongst us that we don't know? People don't look at it that way. See, you've got to train your mind differently.
How do we get, because this is a passion for you and for me. One, because I know people that have been missing, that children that have been missing, and two, it almost happened to me. How do we start to train parents to be more aware? At least we know the ones that are being registered and they're in that area. We have the app. We know that we need to keep an eye on that area. But
what I want to do, what I started out wanting to do, and this was in Asheville, North Carolina, I had a group that come up to me and they was like, we need you because you could teach this, you could teach these people, and you could do these seminars, and you know what you're doing, and hell, you've already got a curriculum built. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm game for that. At the same time, they had these other people who were internet stars that was supposedly knowing what, there's a lot of people who say they know and who say they can do it, but when it comes down time to actually walk that walk, they can't. They don't know what, they don't have a clue. So they're the ones that's, I don't want to out nobody. I do not want to out nobody, but there's no proof of them ever doing anything. That's why I want to do videos with me. That's why I do live videos of everything I do. I mean, people are like, all you do is live, but look what I'm doing. Look who I'm rescuing. Look at this. That right there in itself is documentation saying, hey, this man and this team does it. We don't just talk it, and we don't just sit around holding a sign up or sit around on a keyboard, sitting on a couch behind the screen. We don't do that. We get out there and we do it. We insert ourselves into situations. Situations are always different, though. So you have to train your mind and mindset, your skills, your training level, everything. You have to make it another level higher.
Yeah. And the training is pretty tough, isn't it? You were a bounty hunter for 20 years, and that's going to be some training. That's interesting.
Right.
So then how did you get from being a bounty hunter to now, well, you're actually hunting predators of a different kind?
Well, in a way, you can say they're hunting. A lot of people, they're like, well, he's a pedophile hunter. And I'm like, well, if you really want to say pedophile hunter, that's actually illegal. What we do is, with general awareness, we insert ourselves into situations where we know people are in trouble, or, they can't get the help they need at that moment in time. We'll actually try our best and help them. We'll go and we'll literally rescue them pretty much. I mean, we do it all. I mean, even, I named 2 or 3 different victims in the last 4 months. We went and just, hey, forget it. We got this. We'll go do it. And, on our own dime, we do it on our own dime and our own time. So, pretty much that's what we do. There's been times that, sometimes words can help people. Sometimes it takes action. You can pray to God, numerous times. You can pray to God all you want to. Even David had to pick up a stone.
Yeah. Yeah. Action. Here's what gets things
You have
done.
to have action.
Yeah. So let me ask you, you work with this group of people, but you also work with police. You do both.
We do. We try to work with police on 95% of everything. And there's certain, and here's something too, certain laws that need changed, especially the Tennessee laws, TCA codes and things of that nature. They protect child predators. That's why a lot of times people see us busting these child predators, and it's the sickest thing you could ever see on these chat logs. And then they're like, well, where's the police? Why ain't the police rolling in? Well, it's proven fact that no vigilante club or no kind of private citizens or no kind of citizens, unless you are law enforcement, there's no joint operation. You can't do it because the prosecutors won't take up the case.
Why?
Because it wasn't law enforcement that initiated it. It don't make no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's a loophole. It's a loophole for people like child predators to get off. They have to have that little bitty.
So
there's some states that stick it to them. Alabama. Oh God, Alabama's got some wild laws, especially with child predators. Oh my God, they don't put up with that at all. And I'm gonna give you a good friend of mine, David Humphreys. Great guy. He runs the Alabama Human Trafficking Alliance. And I'm telling you right now, we was in just say the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, Tennessee. And one of our friends, her sister had gone missing. Her sister had been missing for 2 or 3 months. No clue how to find her. Police departments couldn't do nothing at all. The area she was supposedly last in was a bad human trafficking area. They just couldn't do nothing. I called my friend, David, and I'm telling you right now, within an hour, he had a team spot check, had her within 2.5 hours, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Wow. But that's what we need. That is a team. That is a team that everyone, should feel safe with. David is a great guy. He's awesome. And what he does with his agencies and alliance, you can't beat this guy.
Why do you suppose that every state is not the way that this Alabama state is? Why is the legislature not up to
it's legislature? It's and I hate getting into politics more than anything, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's just like we all know the Second Amendment. Look at the cities and states that have the problems with the rights. Look at the leaders. What are they? Who are they? More or less what I should say.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I don't get into politics that much. I try not to. And if I don't know on it, I try not to speak on it. But it is something that's in my heart. When you say politics in general, and you name a subject or a situation with human trafficking, it speaks for its own. It speaks for its own. Look at what's going in the border. Look what's coming in the border right now.
I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, I heard that some of the children that were being brought in and they were filmed by these so-called daddies, and they were asleep. They couldn't get the kids up, so clearly they were drugged. And where's mommy? Oh, mommy abandoned it. So you got 7 or 8 guys whose mommies the wives and the mommies abandon them. Of course, it's nonsense. Now I'm hearing that these kids are being sold on the dark net.
Oh yeah, they will be. And
Unbelievable.
and they film them for a reason. It's the pick of a litter. Think about it. You don't think these kids are auctioned off somewhere way before they even go in to sell? People know where they're going automatically before. That's where that video comes in. Look here. I want this one here.
But
I'll lay 50,000, 100,000 down. That's how
the video was from the guys at the border.
Mm-hmm.
Those are our guys. They're videoing and showing this.
When you get into situations, remember there's always bad people and there's always weeds in the garden. Let's just say that. Let's just,
it could
there's
be
always weeds in the garden.
Those guys come in and there's nothing to say they don't have their own cameras.
No.
And who says that they're actually filming and doing this on our side? They're bringing them from the other side. Maybe they're doing all the filming and singing. Who knows what they're doing? But
it's a different agency now. I was looking at the qualifications, and there's still tough qualifications to go for Border Patrol, but you don't have no structure no more. There's no foundation no more in it. When you can walk by an agent, when you walk by a border agent and them not be able to say nothing to you at all, what do you do?
Why are they not allowed to?
Because they're pretty much issue stand down orders.
Where do those orders come from? The governor, the president?
President.
Yeah.
The White House, or whatever you want to say with the legislation of that, but Lord have mercy. But that's what happens. That's what happens with it. Your problems start. Remember, you can't have a problem. You can't have a problem if you don't have a person committing that problem. You can't have a problem. It's impossible. You can't just have a problem. It don't happen. You don't just run into a problem unless something something's purpose for that problem. Something has to be part in order to have a problem. Like a natural problem. Say you go out and get a flat tire. Well, you got a problem. You got a flat tire. What caused that flat tire? Well, they had to be a nail or something in the road, right? Or natural, it just popped. There's always something, even natural, that causes a problem. With this, you can just watch the news. And when you find the news that actually broadcast it, remember what I say. What the media wants us to see is what we see. They don't get to see this thing like me and you did, you and I, in Kenosha. We got to see the backstory of it. We was right in it.
Yeah. And I got there late. Yeah, and there's plenty to see.
Well, did you notice how when anything happened, the media would run straight to whatever was going on with their cameras, right? They would run and boom. From that point on, they make up their own story on what happened. As long as they've got video of it, they can cut angles, whatever they want to do. They can show you the big picture, show you how many people was there, or they can zoom it in and show two people fighting.
Yeah.
But they don't, that's up to them how their agenda and how they want you to, take that in.
Yeah, I think when I was over there, I knew I was there late and I wasn't going to get very much, but I wanted to see what the town had to say. And I talked to some of the residents. I ended up getting coffee for the guys because some of the guys, security guards, and you were gone, but you got chocolate and coffee for them. And I was talking to some of the business owners and they kept saying that, is the media. She goes, if people come here and they yell at each other and they fight, they yell at each other and they fight, and that's it.
Yep.
When they have troublemakers, the police will take care of it. Last year was bad, but they had more complaints about the media than they did about the troublemakers.
Exactly.
Because
even Black Lives Matter, they was there. Antifa was there.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter looked straight at the media and said, this actually touched my heart. They said, you all are the problem. And they did. There was a member there that was talking to the media like that. And I was like, wow, he gets it. He come to me and he said, they make us out to be bad people. All I can say is, look, I understand your problem, and I understand, I don't look at you as that way, and I never will. He said, and then they even talked to me. He was like, you seem like a cool dude, but you do seem like you more the law enforcement type. And I'm like, look, I'm for law and order. I am. They said they was for law and order, but they said, what you don't understand is what goes on when these cameras ain't here. What goes on behind the scenes. We live here, they said. You don't live here. That hit home hard because I see videos all the time, and it ain't the person that's getting arrested's fault. I've seen it. I've seen people get kicked in the face for nothing. But that's why I said I get it. But what they don't understand, and what a lot of people don't understand, you see how I had to say what they don't understand? I automatically separated them with my words. We have to, because that's what it's made to do. That's what's put in our life to do is separation. I should say, because anytime I say they, I separate. I just separated me from them and what they believe. Did you see what I'm talking about? Because I said they. Well, they're like us.
But they
They're
do have
blood red.
a different school of thought. And I think this is different of what I have seen. My experience has been that there's those guys that truly think that Black Lives Matter, and therefore they're going to, they're going to go ahead with it. And then there's the leadership, which a lot of them aren't Black. And then you get the leadership that have made all this money and couldn't care less about those businesses whose owners are indeed Black, and they're destroying that. We're talking about millions of dollars that they've taken. They become very rich. They bought many homes, and they couldn't care less about the guy these malcontents are burning down their businesses, their homes, and they are indeed Black.
They don't care about their own followers, the one that take up on their word. It's just like one of the speakers was at the rally there, or at the Kyle Rittenhouse trial verdict thing there, and he was saying, whoever come up with Black Lives Matter is a genius in marketing, and they are, because they got rich off of it.
Oh yeah.
And they throw the word out there, and then they got it around spreading. But the people doing it, and the people who are actually the members of Black Lives Matter, what did they get out of it? Do they get new homes? Are they millionaires now? No,
they get the impression that racism is alive and well, and it's not. See, I don't believe that. I don't believe my grandchildren are half Black.
I understand that.
There's more biracial couples today than at any other time in the history of this country. But racism is very profitable. It's very profitable and a great tool.
And it's all about money. It's about following the money.
It's money and control and divide and conquer. As long as you can divide the country, then they get these malcontent cabal members, and it's all financed by Joe Soros, by the way. They are getting, they think they're getting their way. But I think a lot of the people are waking up, and they're getting fed up, because how can you possibly justify a movement that's saying we're doing this on behalf of Black people, and then you're running around burning businesses and burning homes that belong to Black people?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
I've seen some reports as Black people, their businesses got destroyed. And they was out there and they was crying. They was like, look, we are you, and look what you're doing to us. And that really hit home. That really made a lot of sense too. What's wild is people are like, well, you're not really white. I'm not. I'm Indian. I've got a lot of Cherokee Indian blood in me, and I'm more of a tannish like looking color. And I've had people come up to me and tell me right off the bat that I'm racist. Like right off the bat, I'm like, racist? Me? I'm racist, huh? They don't know that my boxing trainer was Black. He was like my dad, literally. And, and the people I grew up with, great friends, and, who are of color. And I've got Mexican friends. Everybody was like, wow. And because they don't want to have a conversation, they don't even care about the conversation. It goes out the window because they know they can't win. That's what happens. If you can't win, you get mad. If you're playing a video game,
and then you start,
and you can't, if you can't beat that video game pretty soon enough, you get so mad you end up throwing the controller, getting mad, just quitting all in general and screaming. That's what they do. That's where it comes in at. That's where stuff like that comes in at.
Yeah.
They can't win. There's no logic. There's no logic. I believe in this, and it states it all. All lives matter.
Yeah, of course.
Simple as that.
Of
All
course.
lives matter. Black lives matter. Green lives matter. Yellow lives matter. Purple, pink, whatever color, brown. All lives matter. Simple.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's one of the things that we have to contend with. But yeah, we have a racial problem that they want to continue because it's very profitable and but the real problem is the security in the country, and what are we going to do with securing our children? That is the real problem. And as again, the problem with the children is extraordinarily.
So have you heard anything about the CNN reporter Chris Cuomo? Or
Yes.
something like that, that he's now seeing it on Kyle Rittenhouse's the verdict, that he understands and like he agreed with the verdict or something. Was that something real big here lately? Him being a reporter, I heard something like that, and I was like, "Wow!"
I have not heard that, but I think Chris Cuomo,
check it out.
or Frito, as they call him.
Fredo.
Yeah, they call him for some reason. I thought his name was Frito, but no, somebody called him Frito, and he got very mad, almost punched him in the face or something. No, I think he's done. I think his brother, the governor, I think he's cooked.
Oh yeah. And he's got even more charges on him now as he left the governor's deal. He's got another 2 or 3 cases against him.
Well, I think these sexual harassment cases are what they're coming up with as a justification for what he did with the nursing homes. Those 5 governors are going to pay the price. But yeah, I think we're winning. Despite we are winning. And I think that as we you've been so generous with your time, but and I hope that we can do this again, because I know you have the same passion as I do, and you have so many stories, and you have so many things that can help parents and grandparents.
I do.
And that's our goal. That's Ernie, that's our passion. And we have to do something. But yeah, I want to finish on a really positive note, and that would be that as thick as this is right now, and we're in the thick of things, and as bad as things seem to be, we are indeed winning.
I've heard we're going to have a good Christmas and first of the year.
That's what I keep hearing. I'm not going to go with any dates or anything, but I'm hearing the same thing. I think we're going to be very happy, and I think that we're at the tipping point, and that near-death experience that Juan O'Sullivan was talking about, it's there. But I think I'm an optimist, and I'm going to say that we're going to do good.
I think our next conversation, our next video should be about January 6th and the videos that's not been seen.
And you know a lot about that, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be very cheeky, and we're going to leave it there. Because I want this. I know.
I've had the Homeland Security visit me twice already about some things, and they were like, oh my God, good God. Let's save it for the next episode.
Yes, we're going to be cheeky and leave it till next time, because I know you told me some stories about that, and you got video that nobody else has seen.
Yeah, I've got a video nobody's seen. And, it just shows that Antifa in front and them trying to start some trouble. It also shows Capitol Police and the mood they was already in when the Patriots arrived, how they arrested the Patriot for just moving a chain and him handicapped, literally. Come on now.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But
they were just waiting. It just takes that spark. It takes that spark to start that fire, and that's what they wanted.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go into more detail in this whole thing, because those people have been there without a trial, without some of them without even charges. They have not been charged, and they're just sitting there rotting away.
Some of them's not even been heard from. We don't even know.
Yes. Yeah, it's not the American way. This is not how we do things, and this is a crime. And I hope that people that are responsible for this will pay. But yeah, like I said, I think despite of all this, I think that we're winning, and that good things are coming our way. So let's let's hope and pray that this is indeed so. And anyway, Ernie, thank you so much for this time. It's
Thank
been
you. I
great having you.
appreciate you guys. Thank
And
you. I appreciate it.
let's work together and see what we can do to just keep parents and grandparents informed, and let's do our bit to keep children safe.
Well, you know, the whole thing I want to do, if I could do it, I would love to just travel and teach general awareness.
Yes.
You know, I was talking about earlier about how we was hitting up on the seminars. I mean, I actually had people who wanted to, you know, sponsor me and do this and do that. But here's the thing about it. They wanted me to charge $40 to $50 to $60 a head, a person, to come in a building and learn. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, why would I do that? Why do I want to charge $40 and $50 to someone who may not have it, who in this economy and time, I know they don't have it. And, you know, they could use that $40 or $50 for their kids, their children, their grandchildren, you know, for their family in general, food on the table. You know what? Set me up a donation jar in the front, my travel expenses and food expenses. I'm game all day long. They could not believe I said that. They wanted to make it off of marketing and money making deal. I don't want that. I don't think that general awareness, there's a price that you should put on general awareness, because if it's something that helps protect a child, if it's something that helps protect families, and it's something that I can give to you, I want to give it to you. You know, if it's going to help your family, I want you to have that.
That sounds great. And as we go forward, we should start thinking about something like that, because it's imperative.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll talk again real soon.
Cool. Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Appreciate it.
Okay. And thank you for holding that line, because I know you guys do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thank you. Appreciate it.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Where did David go?